Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Strong and comfortable. Nice hollow breath. Next inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Samastatihi. Let's do 2 more A. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Steady drishti. Strong bandhas. Lots of movement in the rib cage. Next inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Samastatihi. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Next inhale, walk or jump. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Samastatihi. Bending the knees, sun salutation B. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down to plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, hold this down dog. Scoot the hands back if that makes sense. Drishti is the belly button, so the chin tucks way under. Next inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up, knees bend. Samastatihi. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Next inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Samastatihi. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up dog. Strong Mula Bandha. Holding down dog. The entire body works equally. The breath is rhythmic. And powerful. Next inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale up, knees bend, hands touch. Samastatihi. It's an inhale, open the feet, grab the big toes. Exhale, elbows bend, Padangustasana. Drishti is at eye level at the wall behind or up to the belly button. It's an exhale, slide the hands under the feet. Inhale, sway the back, straighten the arms. Exhale, elbows bend, Padahastasana. Next inhale, arms get straight. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come up. Samastatihi. Inhale, jump open for triangle. Exhale, down. Strong legs. That back heel, the left heel, is the furthest point away from the rest of the body. So that back foot is at an angle. Hasta Drishti. It's an inhale up. Switch sides, exhale down. Uttita Trikonasana. Hasta Graj Drishti, hand Drishti. Strong Mula Bandha, the back heel is angled away from the body. When you're ready, it's an inhale up and over, left hand somewhere near the right foot. Strong Mula Bandha, rib cage opening and closing with the breath. Parivritta Trikonasana. Use your own exhale to look at the bottom hand. Top hand stays active. Inhale up. Rotate. Exhale down. Right hand somewhere near the left foot. Back foot is angled. Strong Mula Bandha. Rotated triangle. Parivritta Trikonasana. Check on all the fingers, check on all the toes. Next exhale, look at the bottom hand. Inhale up and open, jump. Samastati, jump. Inhale to open, exhale down. Extended side angle, Uttita Parsvakonasana. I usually get my feet a little bit too short, they're too close together, and then I scoot that back foot, and it allows me to really lift the arch of the back foot by kind of moving it about an inch or a half inch. It's an inhale up. Exhale, side two. Uttita Parsvakonasana. Hasta Graj Drishti, hand gaze. It's an inhale up and over. Parivritta Parsvakonasana. Rotated extended side angle. Strong Mula Bandha. It's an inhale up and over, second side. Strong Mula Bandha. Get some movement in the rib cage. Since that's the only place we're supposed to have movement. Oh my goodness. Inhale up. Feel that breath suck in. Exhale, jump. Inhale, jump. Exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, elbows bend. Prasarita Padottanasana A. Strong quads. Next inhale, arms get straight. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come up, look up. Exhale, look forward. Inhale, arms open. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold over with an arched back, and then tuck the chin once you get down as low as you're gonna get. Strong Mula Bandha. Nice Ujjayi Pranayama. Prasarita Padottanasana B. Steady drishti. Traditional drishti is the belly button. Use the next inhale, come up. Look up, exhale, look forward. Inhale, arms open. Exhale, interlace. Opposite hand interlaced on top as the last time you practice. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold over. Prasarita Padottanasana C. It feels really good to let the palms open and kind of stretch out the wrists. Strong body, rib cage is opening and closing. Use the next inhale, come on up, hands move to the hips. Exhale, look forward. Inhale, hands stay right there on the hips. Exhale, first two fingers take the big toes. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, elbows bend. Prasarita Padottanasana D. Next inhale, arms get straight, sway the back. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come up. Exhale, jump. Inhale, jump open. Hands up the back in prayer, Parsvottanasana. Use an exhale, head to the right leg. It's an inhale up and over. Exhale, side two. On the inhale, come up, square off, and press your hands up toward the ceiling. And then release, open, and jump. Samastati. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms straight. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, through jump, Dandasana. I like to call Saturday morning, hi everybody. Hi Naya. I was thinking about Naya before I went to sleep last night. And I was wondering how her yoga classes are going. You can tell me about it later, Naya. Hi Maureen. Hi Bill. Hi Andy. Beautiful. Anyway, I feel like Saturdays are half standing, half primary, half second. So it's half and half and half. Dandasana. It's an exhale, grab the toes. Inhale, arch. Exhale, fold. Paschimottanasana A. Beautiful. Beautiful. Chin kind of, the head hangs or the chin tucks against the chest. Or it may just run into your legs. Next exhale, switch the hand grab. Inhale, arch, nice Maria. Exhale, fold, Paschimottanasana B. On an exhale, switch the hand hold again. Inhale, arch. Exhale, down, Paschimottanasana C. Let's do one more. On an exhale, switch your hand hold. Inhale, arch. Exhale, fold. Mula Bandha is staying on. Quadriceps are active, so the breath keeps the same pace. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, through jump. Purvottanasana. Tabletop, feet are apart. Legs straight, feet are together. It's an exhale, sit down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, through jump. Seated half bound lotus, intense west stretch. Right knee first. Nice, Amelia. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, through jump, left foot. Seated half bound lotus, intense west stretch. Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. Adam, do you want me to turn the heater back on? You sure? Okay. It's nice to hear you breathing. It really is. Yeah. It's nice to have company. More company, extra company. Amelia, I don't remember exactly where you live, but maybe someday I can show up and practice in your kitchen with you.
There would have to be some creativity because there is not a lot of room in here.
We could just tuck my mat under the table and then I could practice half on your mat. It would be a narrow, narrow practice.
Yes, it would be.
It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. You guys, I have this fantasy that I come visit each one of us and practice with you. Like do this, but I'm at your house. Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Right knee bends. The right foot is next to the right hip. Mary Alice is the square with the beautiful ceiling. She just waved. And the beautiful ceiling and all the windows behind her. And when it gets nice, she is out past Montpelier. I want to say Calais. And when it gets nice, yeah, I'm right. When it gets nice, we're going to have a pop-up out in her yard. We'll have a pop-up in Michigan. We'll have a pop-up in the library. Okay, I'll quit talking. It's only Trianga Mukha. I can't be talking already. Next inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Left foot under the right knee to jump back. Someday I'll have a pop-up in France. Left knee folds. Right foot is extended. Trianga Mukha
You can get on the bus with
Ekapada. Say it again.
You can get on the bus with Julie and take a trip around to everybody.
Yeah.
Julie's school bus.
Exactly. I don't know if she still has that. You can get one though. And we'll just pick one person up each time we stop. So we need a bigger and bigger bus. And then we end up at Andy's house and Andy's like, we're not all going to fit here. And I'll be like, yes, we will. We're kind of moving in. You're the last stop. I guess we have to stay. Okay, my house can be the last stop. So next inhale, arch. Exhale, right foot under the left knee. Janushasana A, right foot in against the left thigh. Nice, Gina. On an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump. John, nice jump through, Maria. Janushasana A. Left knee is folded, left foot against the right thigh. Strong right quadricep, strong mula bandha. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump. Janushasana B. Sit down onto the right heel. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump. Janushasana B. Sit down onto the left heel. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump. Janushasana C. The ball of the right foot is on the floor. The heel is up. If that foot is against the thigh, the heel presses in against that left leg. And the left foot is flexed for some strength. If the knee is low, you can fold forward. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump. Right foot is extended, left foot, Janushasana C. Ball of the foot on the floor. Heel is up. Heel presses in against that right leg. The right foot is flexed. Beautiful. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale through jump, Marichyasana A. The right knee is up, the right arm loops it. Beautiful. Strong left quadricep, strong Mula Bandha. It's an inhale, arch, open the shoulder against the shin. Exhale, release. Fancy vinyasa, regular vinyasa, invisible vinyasa. Marichyasana A, left knee up, left arm wraps, right foot is flexed. So good. Those are beautiful. It's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Fancy, regular, or invisible. Left foot half lotus or tucked, or do A again. Stick the left foot out straight. Right knee up, same forward bind. Marichyasana B. Five of your own breaths. Then inhale, open the shoulder against the shin. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Marichyasana B, side two. Right foot half lotus, left knee up. It's an inhale, open the shoulder against the shin. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, through jump, Marichyasana C. Left foot is extended, right knee is up. Left arm comes across that knee. It's an inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Fancy lift, skip the lift, or regular. Marichasana C, second side. Did I call this Janu Sirsasana a second ago? Because it isn't. That's sometimes those two postures trade names and try to trick me. Marichasana C. Right arm across the left knee. If it's easy, bind the hands together. Strong Mula Bandha. Use an inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Marichasana D, left foot half lotus, right knee up. Twist around. Maybe bind that knee. It's an inhale, look forward. I like it. Exhale, release. Marichasana D, side two. Right foot half lotus. Left knee up. Twist across. Side drishti, Parasva drishti. After 5, it's an inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Now we're going to do our third partial. Both feet jump forward, squat down, Pashasana. It's a twist. You could do it any way you want. Heels are on the floor eventually. Hands bind together. Nice. Nice. It's an inhale, look forward. Exhale, switch sides. Inhale, look forward, nice moraine. Exhale out. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left knee folds similar to or exactly like Trianga. Right foot scoops through. Kranchasana A, arms are straight. It's an exhale, head to the leg. Kranchasana B. Remember how Patabi Joyce thinks that there are 3 granthis in the energetic system, and they're all located in the sacrum. It's an inhale, arch, look at your foot. Exhale out. Right knee folds. Kranchasana A, arms are straight. Kranchasana B, head to the leg to the head. After the 5th breath, it's an inhale, arch. Exhale, release. Left foot under that right knee. Go ahead and lie down onto the belly. Shalabhasana A. Palms face up, fingers are wide. Beautiful. Pull the hands forward, press back. Straight arms, beautiful. Shalabhasana B. Drishti is low, forehead is high. Good dog, Bowie. It's an inhale, up dog, Bowie. Exhale, down dog, Bowie. Lie down onto your belly. Bowie is Hannah's black dog, in case you were looking for it. Oh, it's up close to the camera right now. Feet down, head up, elbows up. Yeah. You can do one side at a time. Maria, you're such a good model. I can see your hand and your foot. Your lighting is so good. Nice. Nice, Andy. Nice, Gina. Nice, Maureen. Nice, Amelia. Nice, all of us that I didn't have time because I had to bail out of the posture. Vinyasa, it's an inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Lie down onto the belly. Dhanurasana, bow posture. Hang on to the shins just below the ankles so that you can flex your feet if you want to. Yes. And release. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Lie down onto the belly. Lift up into bow. Tip to the right shoulder. Parsva Dhanurasana. Beautiful. Nice, Andy. Oh, so smart. I love it when my drishti is the computer. That only happens so far in one posture. This one. Up and over. Parsva Drishti, Parsva Dhanurasana, second side, left shoulder. And up for 5 more if you'd like it. So when I used to practice, when I was first learning this with David Swenson, the first one I would keep my feet together, and the second one I would open them up so I could get higher. Beautiful. It's an inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Come over onto the knees, camel or Ustrasana. You can use the balls of the feet if you want your heels easier to reach. Rock yourself up. Your head stays back for plank, stays back for up dog, and then releases in down dog. And Laghu Vajrasana. Come down onto the shins again. Beautiful. Hands can be anywhere on the lower leg. Also, you could get in from the bottom. Instead of dropping back toward your head, sit down in between your feet and then squiggle up. Nice lift. It's an inhale up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Kapotasana. I'm going to use a nice wheel in my back. There's a wheel and a towel right there if you want it. The little wheel is perfect for my lower back, and then the big wheel is nice between my shoulders. It's 10 breaths in that posture. Beautiful. Beautiful. People don't seem to dally in that one very much. Nice. Yeah. Isn't that great? Oh. Wow. Oh, nice. Andy, you are so lucky. Whenever you're ready, take your vinyasa, fold into lotus or fake lotus. Supta Vajrasana. 5 breaths down, 5 up and down, 5 more down. That's so funny. Supta Vajrasana to Vinyasa to two cranes. Two cranes or two crows. 5 breaths in each one. Yes, nice. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Two cranes and then a nice twist. Left foot, it's called Vajrasana. The left foot is folded next to its own hip. The left knee is folded. Right foot, half lotus. Left hand under the right knee. Beautiful. Mula Bandha. Let that rib cage open the spine. Five breaths. Then it's an inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Vinyasa or trade sides. Beautiful. And you know what I think? I think that if there's a reason, like on my previous side, I couldn't bind my lotus, so my hand wouldn't reach around and grab the toe. It's a combination of the right knee and the right shoulder on that side. On the second side, I can totally do it. But when I can't do it, you know what I like to do? I like to have my hand tucked under my knee and then put that other hand on the floor and press off of it. And it actually gives me a better twist if I leave my hand out of position. So sometimes I bind and sometimes I press off the floor. Beautiful. Nice vinyasa. Right knee on top, Ardha Matsyendrasana. The left foot is next to the right hip, so the legs are crossed. The front foot hangs off the front of the knee. Beautiful. And the previous Vajrasana, the previous twist has a little bit of a back bend in the lower spine. And this twist has a little bit of a forward bend. It's an inhale, look forward. Exhale, release. Optional vinyasa. This is the last posture that I'm going to really lead us through for a little bit. So after these 5 breaths, you can choose to, 1, this is always choice 1, do whatever you want. 2, continue through second series a little bit further. 3, go into closing sequence. 4, look up bus rentals. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. We're not anywhere near that. That's a fun daydream but the time is not yet. You guys, we have a studio member that you all love and adore, and she is in graduate school for social work. And she's writing her thesis on Ashtanga yoga. I don't know what the title is, but it's basically Ashtanga yoga and how it relieves stress, and how practitioners like social workers should or everyone basically should practice Ashtanga yoga. I think that's what the thesis is. And also that Ashtanga yoga can be practiced by anyone, which is totally not the current belief. But anyway, I mean, it is for me and us. Anyway, so every once in a while I get a text, and I feel like grad school is you present an idea and then 35 people try to pick it apart and tell you what's wrong with it. And then you present more of an idea and that process happens over again. So every time things get picked apart, she checks in with me and she's like, I might need a phone call. So I called her up. She told me, first of all, she told me there was 3 inches of snow yesterday in southern Vermont. That was the biggest surprise. And anyway, she was asking, like, is it okay if I'm quoting Krishnamacharya and BKS Iyengar? And I was like, yes, absolutely. It's still part of the lineage. And then she was like, I really want to quote Patabi Joyce talking about the Yoga Sutras. And this is why I'm telling you the story. I ordered a copy of the Yoga Mala in Spanish to give to Mireya because she's building her library. And I went over and I looked at one of her books. She and I go on a walk every once in a while. Anyway, I looked at one of her books and she was writing Spanish really small in between all of the English sentences of the book. And I was like, oh, fuck. I couldn't learn this way. I mean, I guess I could, but I can't because I don't know 2 languages. But anyway, she was translating every sentence and writing it out. And I was like, why don't we just get your books in Spanish? So I got her a copy of the Yoga Mala and it arrived in my house and it was in English. And I was like, I know I ordered it in Spanish. What the hell is going on? So I just, tossed it in with my books and I'm like, I'll order another one. So I ordered another one and it arrived and it's in Spanish and it's quite beautiful. And then I was talking to Rosalie yesterday, hi Ryan, who's the secret person in grad school. And we were talking and she was like, did Patabi Joyce write a book? And I'm like, you're the reason I got this thing in English. Yeah, I have your book. It's here at my house. And I was like, I love it when stuff goes wrong and then you find out I knew having an extra book isn't anything going wrong. But yeah, I was like, whose book is this? And I had seen or talked to a couple people and I was like, do you have a copy of the Yoga Mala? And everyone I asked was like, yes. And I never reference it. That's the other funny thing is here I have 2 copies of this book that I literally never use. But she can find some quotes from Patabi Joyce. But a lot of Patabi Joyce's most famous quotes, he didn't speak English as well as BKS Iyengar as soon. I guess in the end, BKS Iyengar still was a better English speaker. Anyway, BKS Iyengar is an amazing writer. And Patabi Joyce's quotes are, probably his most famous quote is 99% practice, 1% theory. Andy, I like it. That's awesome. 99% practice, 1% theory. Nice, Gina. And then his most common quote that I know of that he would say to me is, bad lady, right first, left behind. No, left first, right behind. Yeah, that's it. Left first, right behind. And he would yell that in front of everyone. I didn't care. I felt like I was lucky he even looked at me. And he was right. I couldn't get both feet behind the head, which is how come I'm telling this story, because I'm not getting both feet behind the head still, even less than before. He also told me, left leg, bad. I'm like, yeah, I know. I love it though. Gets me around. And then here's one more thing about Pattabhi Jois. He was giving a talk. People used to, in the afternoon sometimes, he was in Maui when this happened. He was visiting in Maui and he was giving his afternoon talk and people would ask questions. And so someone asked him, you know, like, what about all of the wars that are going on? What about world peace? Like, what can we do about that? And he said, I'm just gonna say it in like full English. He said, don't worry about all of that. Can you keep Mula Bandha on? Can you keep Mula Bandha on the whole time you practice? That was his question back to this person. Like, you worry about Mula Bandha, you don't worry about the rest of everything else. I love that story because it really keeps me from paying any attention to the news, because I'm like, well, until I can keep Mula Bandha on the whole entire practice, I don't have to ever pay attention to the news. Sometimes when I talk to my mom and dad, I used to talk to them every other day, but during quarantine, nice, Gina. During quarantine, so little is happening that I would call them and I'd be like, yeah, I woke up, there's still snow, I did some yoga, I read. Like, we had nothing to talk about. So anyway, now I talk to them every 3 days, hoping that some event has occurred. Like, my fence almost fell down into the neighbor's yard, so I tied it to a tree. That's a true story. What was I going to tell you? I don't know. Quotes, Pattabhi Jois. I don't know how we got onto my parents. Okay, I'm going to do my back bends now. Andy, those were really good leg behind the heads. Leg behind the head, firefly. Titiba Asana. And also, if you look up, I think Gina's like one posture ahead of you, maybe two. Nice, Amelia. Ryan, 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 Ryan. Ryan, there's a tree that's leaning over in my yard, and every time there's a bad windstorm, I'm worried it's going to fall down. I'm worried it's going to fall down. So I contacted the landlord. They haven't gotten back to me, and I thought maybe I could get you to just cut out the dead stuff sometime. And then I knew you'd be up for that, but then there's this crow that's been visiting every evening and it sits over there on one of the dead limbs, and I kind of don't want to take its limb away from it. Anyway, well, I'm going to see if I can get a hold of the landlord the next couple weeks that owns the tree.
We can keep the crow's limb for sure.
Okay, and then get rid of the rest of the dead ones?
Yeah.
Cool.
I could even reinforce the limb so it doesn't fall over if the crow gets too fat. If you want to be super fancy.
You're so sweet. Hey, I was thinking about having you look at my fence too.
Yeah, that can definitely be a
thing. I have a really good solution right now. It's just tied to the tree.
And it's not in the yard?
It didn't fall over. It was just that last windstorm. It got a little crazy.
I won't even think about that until you can keep your Mula Bandha on.
Thanks, Ryan. Okay. As the world falls down around me, I'm going to stay focused on Mula Bandha. Nice, Andy. Nice, Andy. Walk, 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 walk. Quadriceps. I love my quadriceps. I love my quadriceps. My quadriceps love me. Nice, Maria. Okay, I'm going to pop over to the couch. I love you guys. It's not very high. I love you. Well, oh yeah, I was going to do that. I won't follow you. Just, well, they are back bends. Remember that time that you and Evan did TikTok with my body? That was like a highlight of my life. Oh my God, it was so good. That's my back bend. Emily Fix. Hello.
Hi, Kathy.
I love you.
Love you.
I'm texting myself, Emily.
I text myself a lot, like
I text
reminders and
myself
stuff.
all the time.
All the time, yeah.
That
And then I have to
bend
close out of it really quick so the message doesn't open so I can like have it as a
as
true reminder.
unread.
Do you ever do that? Yeah, right.
That's hilarious. There is no hurry to finish practice. It's 10:19. I'm going to do closing sequence and nice, Ryan. And at 10:30, we'll be back to chat. So you could take a nap. You could make a little peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I did 3 drop backs, not to the floor, just to the couch. Well, I hope that your hamstring is feeling better.
Yeah, it's a lot better today. Thank you.
Oh, good. Oh, that's
I can
great.
walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it being a lot
I
better
heard
that
it.
quickly is good.
It's just like you never know when I first felt it snap, I didn't know if I really hurt myself or just a little bit.
Right, I know.
It's okay. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, thank you. In case anyone has to sign off, just a reminder, we have 2 more evenings of pranayama from 7 p.m. to 7:20. It's 20 minutes. It's 3 rounds of 4 breaths of Paraka Kumbhaka, Richaka Kumbhaka. Nice, Maureen. Nice, Bowie. Hannah, your practice was amazing. I'm sorry I mostly talked to Bowie. Every time I talked to Bowie, I was talking to you. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
He put one of his toys on my chest during Shavasana.
Oh,
After I opened my eyes, I realized.
that's so sweet. Hey, Hannah, if you come into town next week, text me. Or the next week, or any week. Everyone's name is Hannah right now. If you come into town, text me. I'll see what I can do. Mhm. This is page 113 out of Living with the Himalayan Masters, the autobiography by Swami Rama. Once my master lived in a holy place in the Himalayas called Tungnat. On the way to see him, I stopped at a mountain shrine called Karna Prayag. A great renowned Swami named Prabhat Swami lived in a cave near the shrine, so I went to visit him. I was being trained to be a Swami at that time. I greeted him according to our tradition. He was seated on a blanket which had been folded into quarters, and a few villagers were seated before him. I expected him to offer me a seat beside him. I was still suffering from inflated ego, at least partly because the people in the villages of India respect and bow before a Swami. This feeds the ego and creates many problems for a Swami in training. Prabhat Swami knew my problem. He smiled and said, "Please take your seat." I asked, "Could you please unfold your blanket so I can sit next to you?" He laughed at me. I asked, "Why won't you let me sit next to you, sir?" I was quite conceited and impolite. He quoted the dialogue between Rama and Hanuman in Yoga Vasista and said, "Eternally, we are one and the same, but as human beings, you are still a servant, and I am your master." Modern people try to have the position of a master without attaining anything. And then he gave me a lesson saying, A man went to see a master who was seated on a high platform teaching many people. The man held a distinguished position in society, so he chafed at being treated like all of the rest of the students without getting special attention. He went up to the master and asked, "Sir, can I sit on the same platform with you?" The master said, "You should know the role of a student as well as the role of a master." The man asked, "Sir, what are the duties of a student?" The master explained, "A student cleans, serves, washes dishes, cooks food, prepares and purifies themselves, and serves their master." When the man asked, "And what does the master do, sir?" "A master teaches." "Why can't I become a master without doing all of this?" asked the man. "The menial work has nothing to do with my learning how to teach." The master said, "No. You will be hurting yourself and hurting others. You have to understand from the very beginning that the spiritual path can tolerate everything but ego. Ego places a veil between the aspirant and the process of learning. When one becomes egocentric, they isolate themselves and thus are not able to communicate with the teacher and the conscience and doesn't follow the instructions. Such an ego needs immense austerities and modifications, without which all knowledge drains away. Here's another short one. During the rainy season, swamis do not travel, but stay in one place for 4 months. People then come and learn scriptures from them. Although I was still being trained as a swami, I too would teach every day. Students often create problems for a teacher. For instance, the first thing they do is place them high above them so that there is limited communication. My students built a high platform on which I was asked to sit. I was inordinately proud that I had such a large following. That happens when you are a neophyte and hanker after name and fame. The more one's followers increase, the more egotistical one becomes. I remained under the notion that one particular Swami among my students was not very knowledgeable. During my lectures, he used to sit quietly in a corner. This Swami was actually an advanced adept, although I was not at all aware of it. He came because I used to pray to the Lord, "Lord, enlighten me, help me." I sincerely cried and prayed, so the Lord sent this man to me. And what did I do? I used to give my loincloth to him for washing, and I would order him to do things for me all day. He was with me for 2 months before deciding to teach me a lesson. One morning, we were both sitting on a rock on the bank of the Ganga River. While brushing my teeth, I said, "Go and fetch me some water." He had had enough of my swollen ego. He said, "Go on brushing." I lost awareness of what was happening to me after that. 2 days later, some people found me lying there. My face was horribly swollen. I had dropped the brush, but was still rubbing my finger in my mouth continuously. I was doing it unconsciously. My master appeared and said, "Get up." I opened my eyes, but I could not lift my face. It was so heavy. My gums were swollen, and I could not move my jaw. Then my master told me, "That Swami is a great sage. God sent him to you. You do not know how to be humble and behave properly with the men of God. Now I hope you have learned a lesson. Do not commit this mistake again." And then he said, "Get up, look at the sky and start walking." I protested. "If I keep on looking at the sky and continue walking, I will stumble and fall down." He said, "Bow your head and then you will be able to walk without stumbling. For going through this hazardous journey of life, you should learn to be humble. Ego and pride are 2 stumbling blocks on the journey. If you are not humble, you cannot learn. Your growth will be stunted. When one begins to tread the path of spirituality, it is essential to be humble. Ego creates barriers, and the faculty of discrimination is lost. If discrimination is not sharpened, reason does not function properly, and there is no clarity of mind. A clouded mind is not a good instrument on the path of enlightenment. There must be renunciation. There must be action. In reconciliation of the two, the crown of life resides. It is not action that ought to be renounced, but the fruit of action. Be sure that the ego has been annihilated in the ocean of consciousness. Be sure that it is not lurking somewhere in the inner dark chamber of your heart. Its ways are various and its forms are numerous. Action greased with love gives a glimpse of eternity and perpetual joy. All right, you've got your snacks, you've got your bibs on. So cute. Hi, Erica. Feel free to unmute. Does anyone have any topics of interest or comments about practice or questions?
I wanted to know how Gina's seminar was the other night.
Oh my gosh. Do we know everything about the stock exchange?
It was helpful. I found it really interesting, and I think they just make it super approachable. Plus, it was only 45 minutes, so it was bite size, so that was good. So I learned about the difference between bonds and stocks and commodities, and I learned that I'm in better shape for retirement than I thought. Not because of anything I did other than dumb luck, because I have a job that has a retirement account where my employer puts money in that for me. But that I could be doing a little bit more, especially now that I don't, have to support kids quite as much. And I thought, that sounds good. Here's the best thing I learned. This is the total takeaway. When the speaker started out, she said, so investing your money is like having your money make babies. And I was like, I think that's all I need to know. That is such a good explanation. So anyway, it was good. I learned a little bit about inflation and why it's better to invest than put your money in savings. So yeah. Am I going to take any action to invest? No, I'm going to let my employer continue to do that, the company they hire, because they seem to get it. And anyway, it was good. Thanks for asking. Kathy, when you were reading that,
Cool.
and you were talking about the student swamis, all I could think of was student drivers, and like student swamis, they ought to have like a little thing on it says student swami, like swami in training.
Right.
I don't know, it's funny to think of. I mean, I guess that makes sense. In religious cultures, your priests go through, I can't even remember what they're called when they're students, but there is a special name for it, and same with nuns, and that's just one denomination of religion. So
Yeah.
a student swami, like, I don't know.
I have one of those magnets to put on the back of my car for when Sabian's driving that says student driver.
Oh my God, that's horrifying. Do you actually put that on there?
I mean, when we drove on the highway, I did. Yeah.
Buy that kind of thing.
Someone gave it to me as a gift.
How big is it?
It's just, like a bumper sticker, but it's a magnet so I can take it on and off.
Yeah, that is smart, I guess, especially on the highway, so that people know, just proceed with caution. Give this person a little space.
Yeah. And also he's learning on a stick shift. So someday it's going to come in really handy at like a stop sign or something.
Yes, on a hill. Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that he's really good at is coming to a stop sign and waving people through. So he has time, he has time.
Can I tell you, my son, I have to just tell you this, my son also learned on a stick shift, my car, And the first time we went on the highway, I was like, listen, you're ready. Let's get on the highway. You're ready. And he's like, all right, fine. So we get on the highway. I totally forgot that it was fall foliage, peak foliage in Vermont. The highway traffic was bumper to bumper, and he was driving a stick shift. I also forgot that I had put on the heated seats because it was fall. He's driving, he's in a total knot. He's like, oh my God, Mom, I gotta keep going from first to second. Like, this isn't good. Also, it's so hot in here. Why am I so hot? And he's like trying to get his clothes off. And then I realized, oh, your heated seat is on at power. Anyway, it all worked out, but
Yeah.
funny. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take us in that direction.
No, I love it. That reminds me of something. There's a couple of people that I really would like to study with. Like, they are really intellectually brilliant, and in their own practice, they're very disciplined and they're brilliant, but I don't feel like they set their students up for success. I feel it's like, kind of like, not to bring it up again, but kind of like Rosalie's grad school. It's like, you can help someone without just tearing them apart. Like, if someone just spent 40 hours working on something, don't completely tear it apart. Like, figure out the other thing about Rosalie's situation is people are giving her all sorts of constructive criticism. That's what it's called. I call it tearing apart. They call it constructive criticism. And they don't know anything about the topic or the history. I'm like, that's how come she keeps checking in with me. Anyway, I feel like the best thing that, all of us can do in sharing this yoga, like, I don't feel like I even have to adhere to the hierarchy of teacher and student. Sometimes it's still in my language, but for the most part, I feel like I can just say, we're getting together to practice. And when we had the studio, I was like, the only difference between me and everyone else is I signed the lease. No one else signed the lease. I signed the lease. That's what it was. And anyway, I feel like, so that's my own thing, is like, I don't need language. It really drives me crazy when teachers say my students, and I'm like, I hope I'm not in that lump group right there, Anyway, that I overthink language a little bit, but if you're teaching yoga or sharing yoga or practicing with people, whatever you decide to call it, like, really setting them up for success, keeping things simple enough so that they're not feeling overwhelmed, and keeping things like, when we're in person together, I tend to teach to a pretty high level of ability. So maybe it's not my place, because David Williams is really, really good at teaching to the most beginner person in the room. But then that drives some of the rest of us a little crazy. So anyway, setting your vocabulary and your space, and setting your space up so that everyone, like, set it up for success. Everyone will enjoy their practice, feel good. That's it. Just set it all up for success. And that even has to do, not on Zoom. Well, probably on Zoom. Okay, on Zoom or virtual yoga, it would have to do with, like, better lighting than I have. And, making sure that someone is demoing from an appropriate angle. But in person, how we always jump open to the right? So in person, I feel like there has to be someone who knows what's going on when everyone jumps open for triangle at the front of that line. You don't want a beginner at the front of that line, because then they're looking behind them like, what's going on? Anyway, just setting everyone up for success. That came out of the question about the stock market. Do you think the stock market is setting everyone up for success?
No. No, I think that's, you know, there's that dichotomy. The problem with the language of teacher student, in my opinion, is that it's a dichotomy and it separates one from the other. And it also makes students very passive. So if they, whether the teacher's using that language and model or whether they are, that, you know, if students really draw the line between, if they don't see themselves as a teacher, then they're only listening to the teacher's words, I think, and they're not, especially in yoga, they're not tuning into their own experience, their own body. They're trying to do something with their leg, that their leg's saying, please don't do that, or, you know, something like that. And I feel, I feel like that's a real loss in yoga, is if you have that dichotomy established, then you're kind of missing the point, because there's really more than one teacher in the room. Sometimes this really makes me miss being in the studio. I mean, I just think, Kathy, you would do these things at teacher training, like round robin, who's teaching the next posture, or who's teaching, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's really hard to do that over Zoom, because we can't all be unmuted. It's cacophony. But you are so good at, I feel like, recognizing other people's experience and making sure they recognize it as valid and helpful to people who had that experience. I'm going to mute. I've said enough.
Thanks. Not for muting. Thanks for that compliment. I wasn't thanking you for muting. I was thanking you for the compliment like 2 or 3 sentences ago. That was sweet. Oh my gosh.
Hey, Kathy, I have a question.
Good.
Well, it's sort of along the same lines. I find that sometimes when I'm teaching, I want to give people lots of options, you know, to try to make the class accessible to different levels. But then I also think that, you know, the idea of yoga is that you're supposed to sort of eliminate thought. And so, you know, every time you give someone an option to do something, they have to think about what it is that they're going to do. And so it kind of, it seems like that's not good either. And if they're new, they might not know exactly which option to take, and they might try to do something that's actually harder than if I just told them to do something and didn't give them any options at all. So I wonder what you think about that. I mean, how do you, it seems like there's some kind of balance that you need there.
So I think that you're right on the money, and all of your thoughts are completely correct. So then you have to decide, do I even want to deal with this? Do I even want to lead yoga? Right? That's what it comes back to, is like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what is best for you. So
Yeah.
what in the hell am I doing talking? I mean, not to backpedal, but I don't even know what's best for me sometimes. Like a lot
Right.
of times. I do within the practice. Well, no, I might not. I don't know. I don't even know what I know. Okay, I quit. I'm going to sign off. No, I'm just kidding. That was very funny though. Okay, so I'll tell you what I count on. I usually teach to the people that I know. So I never think that a new person is going to want to hang out again. I'm like, you're here. I'm really glad to see you. I'm going to give you some attention because I want to, and I may never see you again. So I'm going to make sure that I find out what Andy is drinking. Hot chocolate, tea, coffee, could be a smoothie in a mug. I have no idea. She's going to tell us. No, she's not going to tell us. She's trying to tell us.
I put it in the chat. Without coffee, no prana.
Oh, yeah, that's another Patabi Joyce quote. Without no coffee, no prana. So funny.
How did you even say that?
But I want to take care of the people I see all the time. So I count on the fact that no one is going to understand what is going on when I'm leading yoga. No, they're not going to get it the first time I meet them, or the second, or the third. After I see someone about 6 times, I'm like, oh, this is really working out. Right? So I guess I don't worry about people. I kind of leave them alone, and I assume that the practice will provide everything that they need. And I also assume that the practice will continue to educate them like it has continued to educate me. I don't remember what it was, but I just figured something out recently, and I was like, oh, that only took 30 years. That's amazing. And it was like a physical thing, you know, like I don't remember it right now, but whatever it was, I was like, oh.
I remember it was the rolling up to Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana.
With straight legs. Yeah. Yeah, I finally figured that out. I don't think I did it this week, but I know how to do it. So I guess I just figure that any information that I can help with is going to have a lot of patience, and that my real thing is just to keep the pace, and that's all. I don't think I'm really doing anything other than keeping the pace, and not always well, but you know, it's like the least thing. Like I show up and I say, okay, I'll lead. And you guys, everyone, and we all know we have the freedom to do whatever we want. And sometimes I'll even be leading something and I might be doing something different for myself. So I didn't answer your question because just keep sharing and they're going to sort it out. And you can offer options, and on the days you don't feel like talking, assume that the breath, like sometimes I leave a lot of quiet. And I assume the breath is teaching us all that day. And then sometimes I'm offering more information just because it's coming out of me, not because it's a plan. None of this is a plan. That's the answer to the question. You don't have to have a plan around that. It'll sort itself out.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I know that little struggle. And it's how come I started a beginner class, which has no beginners in it whatsoever. I almost changed the name, and I was like, well, there should be one on there that like at least baits someone in if they want to be a beginner. Mm-hmm. So I left the name. But the truth is, we just have a short practice on Thursday, and it's fun. And if it says beginner class, I do feel like I have the opportunity to speak more. Like there is this one cool thing that you've all seen that I just want to show you. So I have to come back here so you can see me. So pretend I just jumped forward from down dog, or I walked or whatever. And then that's on an inhale, exhale, fold. And then when I come up in sun salutation A, I inhale my shoulders over my hips. Then I lift my hands up. It's almost like a 2, you couldn't see it. See this whole Zoom thing, good thing we're not having advice on this. Fix my lighting, fix my screen, I have no head. Okay, inhale, jump forward, exhale, fold, inhale, shoulders up. I could stop right here. Like if my shoulders were exhausted, or if my shoulders were not working very well, we're going to do this demo one more time. Inhale, jump forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up. Then the arms come up. then samastatihi. But I really stand up before I link the shoulders. And the reason is because I don't want to inhale, jump forward, exhale, fold, and then do this funky shit, which loads my hamstrings. Bill, definitely don't do this. Which loads my hamstrings, and then somewhere I make it. Does that make sense? Most of you have heard that before. Anyway, it just kind of tidies up sun salutation A. And Bill, that's a piece of information that I actually think is crucial. And people aren't ready for that in the beginning. So I save it and then I just throw it out occasionally. You know, but that's like an option that's really going to save our shoulders. So everyone should be doing it. But if it's your first or second day learning sun salutation A, it's like, what? You're going to add one more weird thing in here? Anyway.
But Kathy, I think you also are, this is something that I think you do, which is great, not only for, it's great for anybody. And that is you sort of boil it down and say, Mula Bandha's on, that's all that matters. Or, you know, the breathing is all that matters. And that's really liberating, and it simplifies things so that you're not throwing out too much information. And it is kind of the crucial piece, you know, in this practice. So I think that too, and it still helps me. And I'm definitely still a beginner. It definitely helps to just be reminded, especially when you're struggling in a posture. And I think that's what you see with people who are new to a practice. Mostly you see them struggling, and you see their breath is so unregulated, or you see that, you know, their face is red, or I don't know what it is. They just look like they're not having any fun at all. And so to bring it down to the breath or Mula Bandha is really liberating and helpful.
And also all of us being on the other side of learning it, like our body knows it. If my mind wanders, all I have to do is pay attention to where I am, other than counting, you know, how many sun salutations we're on. But if my mind wanders, I'm like, I know where I am. I know what's next. I can just come right back to it. And in the beginning, people don't have that. And then we have that. Our body knows the practice. We're so lucky. The other thing is, it would be, I don't care, I'm just saying hypothetically, it would be really interesting just of us who are here. There's 14 of us here. Okay, so 14 of us here, and how many people, which I don't know the number, have you shared this yoga with? And then we add up all 14 of us and take out any people that, you know, are like on both of our lists. You guys, we probably have shared this practice with, I mean, a few thousand people. Just the 14 of us. And of those few thousand people, what do you think is the percentage of people who continue to practice? I mean, you know, barring like death. Do you think 50% of the people continue to practice? I want to say yes. I want to be really optimistic and be like 50% of the people who like Ashtanga continue to practice Ashtanga.
Well, hopefully if they got their Uddiyana and Mula Bandha down and do Jaya breath, regardless of whether they're actually doing the postures or not, they'll at least do that while they're shoveling and
20
whatnot.
points. 20 points for Ryan right there. 20 points. Cutie.
I really want to evangelize Ashtanga so much, and I just don't tell anybody about it because I am so afraid of like that's not true. I tell them about my practice. Of course, Walter wants to chime in now. But I find it a little tricky to think about like the best way to share it with people in a way that they can receive, you know? And I play with that a lot, but I think I err on the side of not telling people. And
Of
that might be.
caution.
I was gonna say that myself. I always try to share it with people that I know would be interested in it because they're like interested in martial arts or whatever, you know, similar stuff. And yeah, I encounter a lot of resistance from people regarding yoga. It's kind of weird, and I'm not sure how to trick them into doing it.
Ah, that's great.
Me too, that's my question.
I think one thing, a buddy of mine has that I'm speaking of specifically, his knee, he's a skateboarder and stuff. He just got a knee brace for the first time. And it's like when I tried to tell him like a month ago, like, hey, hit up Yoga Vermont. It's, you know, it's free if you know, can't pay for a yoga class, it's fine. And I got no response from it. Now he's talking about a knee brace. It's like, geez, bud. So maybe that'll be enough to convince him that it helps as much as it does, maybe.
Maybe.
But at the same time, then you got to be super careful because his knee's already messed up, and sending it too hard can definitely be a thing for beginners who are used to being badass in other things.
Yeah.
I
No.
think part of the resistance is in this culture, people see yoga as a part of these other things or related to these other things. I think a lot of people see it as elitist, like you can afford to practice yoga or you have the time, or not just to practice, but to have a mat and to go to Lululemon, and you know, even if you don't do those things. And or I had an acquaintance from grade school who really insulted me in the most wonderful way, as it turned out. This was around the 2016 election. She messaged me and said, "You're this yoga practicing, Starbucks drinking, kale eating." You know, like she put all those things together, liberal elitist. And I was like, holy shit, she's right. Although I don't eat kale and Starbucks at the same time. That would be a disaster. but that really was eye-opening to me. Like people really see certain behaviors as part of a larger group, and that they signal something about you that they don't want to have anything to do with.
This is all very sad news.
Well, I mean, it might just be her. It might not be the whole wide world.
Right. I know.
But
I know. I only hang out with us, so I don't know any of that that's going on.
Right. And I would say this is a very non-elitist group. It's a very open group. But that's her perception. And it made me pause to think, I guess it is true that being able to drink Starbucks coffee implies a certain amount of privilege. But I didn't know that yoga was connected to that as well, because it wasn't to me, but it was to her. So
right. So when I started practicing yoga was for the weirdos and the poor, dirty hippies. Or that wasn't my description, but that is what it was. So I'm still thinking like that. I'm not, but you're right. It's been heisted by like Lululemon and Yoga Journal and corporations that are big and making money and promoting go on vacation, go to the spa. Self-care is, you know, a week in Cancun getting your nails done. And for me, it's like self-care is don't eat chocolate chip cookies every single night of quarantine. That's my new self-care. Every other, it's just fine. So yeah, I guess I'm not really keeping up with. You're right though. You guys are right. So Maureen, you know what I do? If there's someone that I think would benefit from the yoga a lot, I put on my yoga clothes and I get my yoga mat out and I do I'm not kidding, I really do this. I do 3 sun salutation A's. I roll up my yoga mat. So it's the same ritual as if I do a whole entire big ass long practice, which I have the stamina to do. But they only see me doing something that is possible. Like we could go on a 45-minute walk. Everyone I know, well, not everyone, almost everyone I know can walk for 45 minutes. And that's not a big deal. We could go on a 20-minute walk. We could go on a 45-minute run. I've lost a bunch of people at that point. So I do something that's like a 20-minute walk to them or a 45-minute walk. Like, oh, that looks possible. And I just let them observe it. They might be in the kitchen, in my kitchen, making coffee, and they may not even see one sun salutation but I do have a glass door over there, but they might miss the whole thing. But they see that the practice can be a 10-minute ritual. And that it doesn't have to be like, I need 2 hours, or an
I
hour.
feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. And I feel like the people that I've talked to and practiced with, and people have said like, oh, I'm also interested in yoga, oh, I did yoga last night. I just love that, like, talking about how yoga is different for everybody. And maybe it is 10 minutes in child's pose, or maybe it is an hour with a YouTube video, or whatever it is, but like taking the outside expectations away from it and being like, hey, yoga's actually for you, like it should feel good, kind of thing, which has been the work I've also had to do for myself, coming from like a dance background where you're staring in a mirror the whole time, comparing yourself to people. So just trying to release that and help yourself understand that that it's like totally for you.
And it's like people who are like, hey, want to go for a run in the morning? And they're like, they've already done 3 marathons that year. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to run with you. But if they leave the house, they go run around the block and they come right back, I'm like, oh, I could have done that with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little digestible amounts. That's how come that pranayama session, that pranayama session is 20 minutes, is because none of us want to do that for an hour.
Mm-hmm. I know. I literally saw it and I was like, oh, 20 minutes? Okay, I could do that. Like,
yeah,
I had that experience.
Yeah.
It's like micro yoga or something.
And just like the people who run marathons, like they love it. So they keep doing more. That's how they got to the marathon level, is like, oh man, I want to do more. And if someone's apprehensive about yoga, they can't imagine that they're going to want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So I let the yoga hook them later, like, you don't ever have to do more. Stop, don't do any more. Cool.
I was, this is when I woke up this morning. I woke up at 8:30. And I was whipped because both of my dogs had gotten me up in the middle of the night twice. So, anyway, I thought, oh my God, when I woke up at 8:30, I thought, there is no way. I was in that mindset, that beginner, really like intimidated. I thought there was no way I can do half of primary and half of second. Like, that's just not going to happen. My back is just not going to do a thing. And then I thought, well, I'll just do a few sun salutations. And I didn't do any jump backs. Not from the standing posture. Didn't do, even for the up dogs, I kept my legs on the mat instead of lifting up my legs like I usually would do. And at some point I thought, that's hilarious, because I totally, like the practice got going and it felt good and it was a really good practice, but I would not have predicted that. But it was the idea of I'm just going to do a micro amount and then maybe stay in Shavasana.
Microdose yoga.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's really smart, Kathy. That's a good reminder about maybe, like to make it to, start off with a really, I don't know, a digestible amount that's not intimidating and that just, it's almost guaranteed to feel great.
Yeah.
I also like the 10 minutes in child's pose. Who'd have thought?
All right. I love us all. I hope you have a good breakfast. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Love
Thank you for chatting with each other. Thank you for turning your camera on so I can see you and say hello. And I don't care if you ever turn your camera on, but if you did, I'm lucky I got to see you today.
Kathy, I told people about if your camera's off, you think that we're all naked back there. I was dying thinking about that.
Yeah, that's funny, right?
It was so funny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
Bye, Emily. I love you, Naya.
I love you.
I feel so lucky that I got to see you. Hey, are you teaching yoga classes?
No, not yet.
Oh, I thought you were because I felt like you were. I wasn't sure if I dreamt it or if I just like felt like you were, but I was like, I don't know if I have your phone number. Anyway, my mental text was, I hope you're having fun leading yoga.
I asked Sarah last month if I could teach yoga, and then I kind of chickened out.
You
And
can teach anytime.
okay.
And if you wanted to do something, also Naya, if you ever wanted to do something like on a Friday evening, we don't usually have anything scheduled, where you invite your friends and you pop on to the Yoga Vermont so you can all be together. Like, I'm sure that you probably already have a platform, but if you don't, you could, use this virtual room if you wanted to.
Okay.
And you could even just do a one-off, like invite people to a 15 or 20 minute or half hour yoga class and just do whatever you want. I would show up unless you were like, don't come.
Okay.
Which is cool. Like, there used to be people teaching at the studio who were like, you cannot come to my class. And I'm like, okay. Because they thought I knew too much. I was like, okay, I won't come. Anyway, you can do whatever you want, and we are at your service. And I love
Thanks,
you,
Kathy.
and I love your family.
I love you too. I miss you.
I miss you. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Summer's coming. All right. I love you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye, Ryan. Love you.
Bye.